Customs officers are on the lookout for ships smuggling oil. But there are too many inlets and bribes on offer. Within weeks of the invasion, the British handed the oil fields back to the Iraqis. The militias soon moved in, siphoning off huge amounts of black gold.
Can you imagine a militia having control of $2 million a month, what they can achieve, what they can do? That means power. That means recruitment of people. That means procurement of weapons. That means procurement of politicians. They can do anything with that.
Basra's new security chiefs, Generals Jalil and Mohan, will have to deal with the militias. It could be bloody. We caught up with them as Jalil apologized for being late. Another bomb meant for him had just wounded 4 of his bodyguard.
It's possible to negotiate with some of the militias and deal with them in a friendly way. But there are other militias, especially those that have no discipline and are out of control. They can only be dealt with using force.
Iraqis feel they can no longer count on the British military, who've now handed over responsibility for security here. They still patrol the villages outside Basra, but the emphasis is on their own security now.
Salam alaikum, salam.
Tribal elders here told me they fear civil war. There's no stability as yet. They hope and pray that things will work out. As the British pull back, one group of Iraqis are very vulnerable. Thousands of interpreters who've worked for them. I filmed with one of them in a Basra police station last year. Even then he was so afraid he hid behind sunglasses at midnight. The British acknowledge 40 Iraqis who worked with them have been killed, but other estimates suggest that up to 50 more may have been murdered as collaborators.
That's very good. You're very brave men. Thank you.
I'd met 2 former translators in Syria. We've had to keep their identities secret, so family in Basra won't be killed. One worked for the British for 3 years, the other 7 months.
This is a certificate of appreciation from the Welsh regiment, yes.
Amongst their few possessions, certificates of commendation from the cream of British regiments.
It says here, we wish you a safe and brighter future for you and your family.
They told me why they'd had to escape from Basra.
My father said to me, "You'll have to leave now, before they find you and put 3 bullets in your heart. Then we'll have to bury you like the other translators who've been killed, like we've heard on the news."
3 guys with machine pistols and guns attacked me inside my house. And of course, they knew I was an interpreter. First, they stole everything. They took all my money. I said to them, "Take anything you want, just leave my family alone." And they said, "No, we're going to take your son." Imagine the terror of that.
Other countries like Denmark have given all their interpreters asylum. After a public outcry, the UK has now promised to let some settle in Britain.
We feel that the British forces are responsible for our lives. We need asylum in any... But if I had a choice, I hope that it would be in the UK.
But the requirements are very restrictive. And to register, many interpreters have to get to UK embassies outside Iraq. There's no guarantee the men I met in Syria will be able to come to Britain.
What do you feel the British government owes you?
What do they owe me? They owe me a lot.
They owe you a safe refuge.
Yes, if not for me, then at least for my children, for my family. All I want is a peaceful life, a decent life for my family.
I tackled the commander of British forces in Basra about the fate of those who had worked for the UK government.
How does the army feel about those people that worked?
Well, I think, as the government has indicated, we're discharging our moral obligation to the people that have supported us over the last 4 years, and the government's announced its policy, and I think it's entirely sensible.
To date, not a single interpreter has actually been offered resettlement in the UK. In fact, reports suggest that over 100 have so far been rejected for not meeting the criteria. There are some signs of optimism in Basra, despite years of terror. Families are out and about, here in the city's only park. Most political and militia groups, including the Mahdi army, have now pledged to work together for peace in Basra. The British are proposing a big investment drive, but Basra will only thrive if it can end the malign influence of the militias. General Jalil's clean-up of the police force is having an effect. Overall, murder rates have halved since June. He's become a hero to his men for taking on the extremists who talk of honour whilst killing women. What future do they really want for Basra?
Isn't it a dishonour to kill people? Isn't it a dishonour to steal the wealth of the state? Aren't theft, murder and plundering the wealth of the people in Basra also dishonour? Is honour only about women?
In Little Iraq in Syria, the exiles are waiting to see if their new security chiefs can deliver the peace the British couldn't bring to Basra. But there's bad news for one of our interpreters. His asylum application's just been rejected. He only worked for the British for 7 months, not the 12 demanded. His money and visa are running out, but if he returns to Basra, he risks being murdered.
Gordon Brown said he would help the interpreters. But how can he make a distinction between someone who worked for the British for 3 months or 3 years? The militia don't see it like that. They will assassinate all the interpreters, even if they only worked for the British for a month.
People are beginning to return to Iraq, but none of the families we met feel it's safe to go home while the militias still have a stranglehold on Basra.
Iraq is finished. The Iraq we knew, with its dignity intact, this Iraq is finished. We're finished. There's no future left for us. We just hope we can live abroad.
Most people in Basra are grateful to the British for freeing them from Saddam. But for some, the legacy we will leave is a bitter one.
What do you think the British have brought to Basra? What will they leave behind?
Misery. They didn't do much. This is a question I was thinking about, you know. Why did they come? Why? To oust Saddam Hussein, okay, he's gone, and next? That's the whole big question, and that's the questions that everybody's asking. Why?
Jane Corbin reporting there, and that's the last Panorama of the year. We really hope you've enjoyed what you've been watching from us. We're back on January the 7th for a film no parent will want to miss.
Monarchy, the royal family at work is next here on BBC One Northern Ireland, while on BBC Two Northern Ireland will a novel idea to take the mess out of Christmas tree disposal get the thumbs up from the Dragons in the Den. And over on BBC Four, well, they're celebrating the 70s hit play Abigail's Party.